The dock workers are on strike in the United States. This is big. The longshoresmen. Pablo, our guy, our import export guy, the guy that ships your household goods, called me up and said, Mike, we got to get ahead of this. We got to tell people what's up. But what we're specifically going to be talking about with Pablo, since he's the expert, is how does this affect people that are thinking about living in Costa Rica and they want to ship their household goods, or maybe they're doing it now, or maybe in the future. How is this going to impact them? And what I love, this is why I love Pablo as a contact. He's not afraid to put this stuff out there. He's not glossing it over like, oh, it's fine, everything is good. Yeah, you can do this thing. So if you don't really know, we're gonna get to it in about give me about 40 seconds. Guys, I'm Michael Allen for travelcostaricanow.com. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I appreciate it. And guess what? Pablo speaks at our upcoming relocation retreat, man. So if Costa Rica is on your radar and you're thinking you might want to live here, but you're not quite sure, the relocation retreat might be for you. And all the information is in the link in the description. We would love to see you there. Tons of info. We have a great time, and just the contacts are worth the price of admission. And Pablo's one of them. So let's get to him. Pablo, man, thanks for talking to us on way short notice, man. I'm in Maine. I'm in Maine visiting my family, but you wanted to make this happen, so here we are.
Yeah, Mike. I think it's important. This is, I mean, just so people understand, if you are going through a shipping process right now, this could cost you an additional two, three, four, $5,000 of additional expenses. So a well professional international move, it could be $10,000, and
Okay.
just having
Okay, wait.
it.
Hold it.
Yeah,
Hold
go
it
ahead.
there real quick. Hold it there real quick. First off, for people that may haven't seen the news or don't really know what's going on, let's give a very quick what's happening. And it just started happening, I think, yesterday or whatever. What's going on?
Okay, and it's important. I also got to go about this. There isn't a strike. Basically, all ports from New York all the way down to Florida and the Mexico Gulf, like I mean, meaning the Houston, Texas port. Basically, 14 ports, 14, 13, 14 ports are going into a strike. They started strike yesterday. And what worries me, Mike, is like a lot of the media is not even covering some of this. And our customers and the people we service in Costa Rica, they're kind of disconnected of what's happening in the US. Maybe they're already here 1 year, 6 months. They're not really watching CNN or some of the news out there. And this is huge. I mean, this is another reason why to move abroad, by the way, because this is a potential additional wave of inflation. Um, is expecting to be $1 to $5 billion losses per day by J.P. Morgan, and this is the numbers vary from the different sources of news that I've seen. Anywhere between 25,000 workers to 45,000 workers are going to strike. They're just not going to work until they get their money. They want to get an increase of $5 an hour per year in the next 6 years. That's a literally an 80% more money for what they do, and they are also wanting to negotiate that there's no automation going to be in place in no other ports in the United States. And the United States, by the way, is behind in automation. Like I mean, in many other countries,
They're they're not even in the top 50 of efficiency. There's no port in the
it's,
United States that's in the top 50
it's, it's,
in efficiency.
it's,
But I
it, I
want to
mean,
I just want to I want to go back real quick because somebody, they got to understand this affects everything in the United States: lumber, construction, cars, knickknacks from China, clothes, everything, gas prices, everything. And actually, even if it stopped in a week, it's still going to be in effect. Now, the thing you just mentioned, which I think is interesting, as much as I love people, those guys work hard. I know it. I get it. And I think, they're trying to protect, the
no.
the union's trying to protect them. I get it. But automation is the future and you cannot stop that. You can't stop. I mean, we're going to talk about something else, but I don't want to get too political, but the thing is, we will be outpaced by, we already are. If we don't get caught up in the automation, we're going to be behind. So I get it. I understand you want to protect your workers, but and maybe they deserve the money, but maybe they get the money and we talk about, hey, finding other ways, avenues out, because automation does have to happen. But I'll get back to it because we have to talk about how this affects Costa Rica, because it impacts the United States impacts the world
Everywhere,
really.
yeah.
So let's go with that first. Like what the can the people that are living here or want to live here thinking about shipping, what should they be looking at or what should they expect?
So we're telling all of our customers, we send an email to all of our customers and prospective customers. So people that haven't even paid us yet, we're telling them, let's not book anything. Let's wait this thing out. Let's just wait. And in my personal opinion, I don't think this could last months. It's impossible.
Yeah, no, wait.
First,
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
First, my understanding is you go into a strike in the United States. So this is what I learned by researching this. You go into a strike, then you don't get a paycheck on Friday. So out of these thousands of people that are going to go into a strike, they could potentially go for a strike for 1 week or 2 weeks. But can they go for a strike for a month or 2 months without getting a paycheck? Maybe not. So I'm very optimistic that this is going to go away in maybe 1 week or two. Even that is going to affect everything. Like a week or two is going to be bad for the economy. So we're telling our customers, please wait. I don't see my competition doing any of this. Nobody's talking about it. I go into business chambers for international shipping and international moving. Everybody's quiet. Nobody's mentioning this because this affect our industry directly. It affects. I mean, the salesperson who is selling another shipment doesn't want to put their customers on hold. They want to collect the check. They want to collect the money. But I think it's not fair, and I think people should know and should plan and keep this in mind before they do a shipment. So we're telling our customers, let's wait a little bit. And the customers that we already have, and we manage an average of 50 to 60 shipments at the same time. So the customers that we are about to pick up are in this loading process. We're coordinating because the beginning of October we're loading. We're telling them, let's wait, let's switch. It's better for them to potentially just change their flight, even though they can lose, $500 on a flight if they change their flight. But if they load today, that could mean that it's going to cost them $2,000 if this strike keeps on going for 3 or 4 weeks. So we're planning with the customers. In some of the cases, we are picking the shipment. We're picking the shipment, loading everything instead of loading the container right away. We're moving into storage because moving into a storage facility is a lot less expensive. It could be $400 a month, not $1,000 on port fees or $2,000 for like. So we are managing this with each of our customers in very different things. So if you're thinking about shipping, my advice to you is to wait a little bit. And if your mover is not telling you anything, just write them. Just get them on the phone and find out. What it should be telling
Well,
their customers that.
actually, to me, if I didn't hear from my shipper about this and I heard it from, like, let's say the TV, I see something next week, I would consider that a red flag against whatever business I am using because obviously they're not trying to tell me. And here's what I think, tell me if I'm wrong, is going to happen. Whether the strike goes, let's say it just goes a week. Okay, let's just say it goes a week. I'm still assuming that there's going to be money in effect. So, I mean, things are going to go up a little bit. I mean, it may not, I don't
Yep.
know if that means for 6 months or 2 weeks, but it is going to go up. I have a hard time believing everything just, oh, that never happened. There's
Mm,
going to be cost incurred,
it's going to be a
regardless.
ripple
So,
effect on
yeah. And
the
if you
not
didn't
just in
tell
the
me,
shipping industry.
yes, if you didn't tell me, and now, well, I don't know if you guys heard this, but there was a strike a few weeks ago, and I know we told you 2,000, but really it's 4,500. Oh,
Oh man, it's really really hard to tell. It's just what is the increase? Is it going to increase for a whole bunch more? It's hard to tell. But yes, of course, it's going to add an additional cost. Maybe one day it's not a big deal, but if it takes a week or 2 weeks, it's going to be an additional expense. That's for sure.
so I'm assuming it's kind of the people that are right in the middle of this. Like their
Yeah.
stuff is, like on a ship or something that could be maybe have the full effect of or the full consequences. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just a very simple message. Just wait a little bit. If you're going through your shipment right now, where you hire, I know if you're one of my customers, we already talked to you and sent you a WhatsApp and email. Uh, but if you're dealing with any other company, it's a good idea to follow up to make sure everything is going to stay the same, or whatever it may be. Just talk to whoever using. This is going to affect a lots of people, thousands and thousands of shipment could be affected by this. The economy is going to get affected. The Costa Rican economy may also be affected. I don't know if you noticed, but we
Yeah, of
export.
course. Yeah.
United States is one of the biggest customers for Costa Rica products: coffee, bananas, pineapples, all of these fresh products. We're exporting that into United States, and that could affect the local economy as well a little
Yeah.
bit. Uh,
It's literally anything. It's literally everything. Clothes, cars, oil, knickknacks from China, all this fruits and vegetables and food and all kinds of stuff, right?
you know, fuel energy industry. I think that's one of the most sensitive ones. If gas prices go up because of this, everything is going to go up. It's just all trucking companies. Now, I was hearing this report. They were interviewing the trucking company in North Carolina, like the trucking company people. If they don't have access to port to pick up containers in and out, a lot of these truckers are not going to have work through all of the ports on the Caribbean side. Um, so it's affecting the trucking industry. Is affecting if whatever you do. If you are a retailer, a small business owner, you have a small store, you have no access to your products for the high season, which is about to start. Uh, you know, we're
Right.
October, November, high season, then that could people could be laid off because of this if it goes for a very long time. So there's a lot of things that could happen. It's sad that it's happening, and on top of that, this is a political year. We're only 4 or 5 weeks away from elections. So,
Right, right.
and by the way, Biden and the Biden administration has said that they're not going to interrupt. They're not going to do anything about it, even though by law the Constitution allows the President of the United States to put a piece of paper together and force port workers to go to work.
Yeah, but like night, yeah,
Uh,
there's like they call it like a cool off time of 90 days. They can kind of force them back to work for like a period. I think it's 90 days, a period of time to kind of try to, smooth this over, work it out during the time. But obviously we
Anything
never
like
know.
this, this is something that have never happened. Like I believe since 1977, the last time something like this
The
happened
air,
was in
the airlines, the people that do the planes,
the
air traffic
yeah.
controllers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had a few years ago we had something like that. About a decade ago, we had something like that in Costa Rica with the traffic, like all essential workers, essential to economy, could be could be forced to work while the negotiations continue. And the last time something big like this happened was in 2001 in the U.S. and President Bush forced people to go to work because like this is too essential. We cannot have people at home, and they just make them mandatory. But once again, the Biden administration said they're not going to do anything about it. They believe workers should negotiate their whatever they think is fair. That's basically my understanding of what's happening on the political side.
So
But
the basic thing from you is if you're, Costa Rica shipping, you want to ship your stuff to Costa Rica, it is just a wait,
yeah,
basically.
100%. Either wait, and if your shipping is in transit, whoever you're using, you should contact your shipper right away and ask them, how is this going to affect or impact my shipment?
It will. I'm just assuming it would go higher, right? Let's say, okay, hey, Mister Shipping, I $5,000, whatever it is. I don't know what the prices are, but will it? If you're right in the middle of that, will it go up just because of the strike, regardless? Or
There
is that
is
legal to do? Or does it have to stick? Okay, we quoted you 5,000 or whatever it was. That's it. No matter what happens, we can't raise that price. Or can they just raise the price and say,
yeah,
hey, we can't pay for the extra, so you're going to have to.
freight forward companies, visa lines, transportation companies. The normal thing or the standard is that they lock your rate for 30 days. So they give you a rate for you to start an operation. But the next month, in the next cutoff, it's going to be another price. So it just depends.
Oh, okay.
If it takes longer than 30 days, then they could get an email saying, well, now we didn't export anything this month. Your shipment is going into the next cutoff, and then the rate is different. So there is a high potential of getting a higher rate.
Well, I think
Once
the
it,
point, I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it just depends on when the container was picked up, loaded, sent to port, and if your container is at port today, and there is gonna be a not just your container. If you're shipping right now, it's not just your container. It's gonna thousands of other containers are going through the same thing. So it's gonna be a jump. It's gonna be little trucking nightmare in entering and exiting ports when this thing, finish. Uh, so I can see how this is going to affect everything. That's just what I have
Well,
to say.
I think the point of this video was just to get it out there to make sure, you're on it as a shipping guy, you're on top of this. And so we can tell the people what to expect. Obviously, we'll probably be doing another video whenever it's called for to
Mhm.
let people know kind of where it's headed or how long it might go, or maybe there's some other options that open up. But for right now, this video is I wanted to get it out there. You wanted to get it out there so people
Yeah.
can just be kind of have some knowledge about making better decisions with their own what they're doing. So Pablo, I definitely appreciate this. I mean, I'm glad you had time to talk to us. I'm glad my mom and family said I could have a little downtime to do this little video. So I think we'll probably be doing another one soon. Maybe we do another one in 2 days. Maybe things are going to be changing, but I just
Yep.
want everyone to make sure that we got you. We will report when there's some change. We'll be right back here no matter when it is. So Pablo, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate your expertise in this.
Thank you
So
so much. It's a pleasure, and I
guys, I'm
think it's
Mike.
super useful information. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm Michael Allen from Travel Costa Rica Now.com. That's Pablo, our shipping container guy. Household goods and cars. Anyway, guys, check you out later. If it changes, we'll do another video. Thanks, Pablo.
Bye bye.